What's up, people? Back with another video. I ain't need to be on this one. Y'all know who channel it is. I was just looking at this video and they talking about something that I always said about LeBron James. And they talking about him being in the West when he first got drafted. So we're gonna play this video and I'm gonna react to it. Here we go.
My question to you, brother, my brother, Chill, was, and you too, Lo, how many champion finals will LeBron James have went to had he played in the West his whole career? And I don't care.
I would say seven.
I think they would have went to 7 finals in the West.
You honestly depends on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Team you built.
Ticket. Are you sitting here telling us that?
Let me show you. Let's talk about that right quick. That's just stupid. First of all, who was they watching in 2003 and 2004? Was they watching basketball? The West was so loaded back then. You see, nobody didn't go to it 7 times. Nobody couldn't get to the final 7 times in the West at that time. It was no easy road at all. It was no easy road. So I don't know what they looked at or seen. They acting like it was just like the East. It was the East and the West was two different. The West was a whole different monster at that time. It was a whole different monster. Ain't no way in the world you telling me that he would have went to the West and they would have won 7 championships. You son, that's just crazy. First of all, this has been my biggest thing forever. If the best thing happened to him is that he got drafted to the East. If he would have came into the West at the time, we wouldn't even be talking about LeBron James right now like we are. He would have been a good player, but he wouldn't have been like he is now. Talked about now. Because there's no way you thinking that he coming out the West like that. If you was looking at basketball back then. It's no way. It's no way. Unless he got drafted to a good team. And we already know with him coming out of high school being number 1, he was not getting drafted to no good team. He was not getting drafted to no good team. Let's keep it going.
LeBron James, who is the best player of the entire decade, if he moves to the Western Conference, and I don't know, he's on the Trailblazers with LaMarcus Aldridge and Damian Lillard. If he's on, if he's on the Golden State Warriors, if he's on the Trailblazers with Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge, no, he's not.
No, excuse me, no.
You're asking.
But you see what they tried to do right there. First of all, none of them teams that he just mentioned would have been able to draft him. Not one of them teams would have been able to draft LeBron James when he first came to the league. But you see what they always try to do. They try to give him the best case scenario. They try to give him the best case scenario they can give him. The Spurs? How in the world would he have been? He couldn't have got drafted with the Spurs. There's no way. Why we even talking about the Spurs? I don't know what the Trailblazer was back then. I can't remember. But I know the 3rd pick was the Nuggets in the West. All the rest of the top five picks was going to the East. The Nuggets had to been the worst team in the West at the time. If he go to the Nuggets, I don't even know if we talking about LeBron James right now. If he goes to the Nuggets, we don't even talk about LeBron James like we are now. He didn't have the mentality to survive in that West at that time. He did not. And matter of fact, if we want to be real, you see what's going on now. You see what's going on now. And with him not being able to he know how to do a little bit more stuff now than he did when he first came in. But with his arsenal at that time, the West would have ate him alive. The West would have ate LeBron James alive. And that's just the God honest truth. There's no other way to even talk about that. If you watch basketball back then, that 2003, 2004 season, ain't no way these boys on here crazy. Either they crazy or they just talking. They just talking.
Asking me a question, you asking me to answer it. If he's on the Portland Trailblazers with Damian Lillard and Marcus Aldridge, if he's in San Antonio with Tony Parker, Ginobili, and Tim Duncan, are you telling me that them dudes ain't? Are you telling me?
No,
In fact,
he wouldn't have been.
First of all, how many years he got over Damian Lillard? Damian Lillard was nowhere near the league at that time. I don't even know. I think Damian Lillard was drafted like in 2010 or something, 2009. Curry was drafted when? Was he in the league at that time? Like, them boys weren't even in the league. What the world is he talking about? And then he talking about he's not getting on the Spurs. Come on, man. Like, why they even do that? He know he gotta go. They know he was gonna have to go to the Nuggets. That's why they ain't not one time gonna say the Nuggets in here.
Hold on, you had to switch one of them dudes out.
No, we ain't switching nobody out.
No, he just drafted on the team.
You just and again, you just said if he was in the Western Conference, David Stern would have did the same thing that he did with the Clippers when Chris Paul tried to go to the Lakers. He would have put the kibosh on that. He would have been like, hell no, LeBron James ain't going to the damn Lakers. Hell no, he ain't going to the Spurs. Absolutely not. He would have put the kibosh on that. No way.
First of all,
no way.
Here's why. Hold on. Here's why I disagree with you.
I'm listening.
And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, when he first came in the league, he was already vulnerable. So you putting him in that same situation on the Spurs don't guarantee that they win championship. First of all, the Spurs never won back-to-back. So you putting LeBron James and Young on that team doesn't mean that he's going to win back-to-back because LeBron James wasn't ready for that moment all the way from there, all the way to 2011. You seen what happened when he was in the finals with a super team in 2011. Thank you, sir. This is
He took the Spurs thing, but he's still right. If you couldn't do it with the Heat against Dallas during that time in the West, you is not doing it with the Spurs. First of all, LeBron James cannot play in a system. He cannot play in a system to save his life. So now you going over there with the Spurs and Tim Duncan, and at that time Tim Duncan was still in his prime. When in 2004, they trying to switch stuff at they will. You can't switch this because I don't even know what this Damian Lillard and Aldridge thing came from because they weren't even in the league at them times. They weren't even in the league. Then they try to jump to the Spurs just to give him a great team. The Spurs was a great team at the time. You're not getting on this. Like I'm gonna keep saying that because you're not getting on the Spurs. Now I ain't saying he couldn't have won. The Spurs won the championship without him. So I ain't saying they wouldn't have won the championship, but he wouldn't have been the point of it. He would have been part of it, but he wouldn't have been the focal point like it was with Tim Duncan. Come on now. Come on, man.
You put LeBron on the team.
On the Spurs?
You put
You're not hearing me.
Hold
No,
on.
I said
Let me
young
finish. Let me
LeBron.
finish.
No,
Let me
a
finish.
young LeBron.
I always let you talk. You put young LeBron on a team with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and we are forgetting the greatest coach he ever would have had in Greg Popovich. That team's winning.
Bill Russell.
That team's winning. That team's winning.
I mean, Tiki, they did it with Kawhi, so why is he they wouldn't do it with LeBron?
So do this, Ron. I got a question.
First of all, when he just bring that up, both of them bringing that up about Kawhi. They was already established as a great team already when Kawhi got on the team. When Kawhi got on the team, they was already established as a great team. That had nothing to do with Kawhi like that. They was already a great team, and Kawhi just was a good player. He came in and he made it good. So now if you put him in the same thing as Kawhi, it would have. First off, it's two different times. They trying to put the same times with LeBron James and Kawhi. Those are two different times. Kawhi, I don't even know when Kawhi was drafted. I want to say he was drafted like in 2011 or something. I want to say 2011, 2010. LeBron James came in 03. The 03-04 season. So you're not getting that. You're not getting the same Tony, and you're not getting the same people. You're not. And they trying to do that, put that with it for no reason, knowing that you cannot do that. It's not even the same times. Yes, if LeBron James came in when Kawhi came in, the Spurs was already established. Of course they would have won. They won. They could have won without Kawhi. Kawhi was in year 2 when they won. I think he wasn't the focal point of their team. Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Ginobili was still the focal point of their team. He was still a great player. He was a good player, but he wasn't the focal point.
Real quick, Ron. Hold on a second. I got a question, Ron. So that San Antonio team that won the NBA championship in 2013, 2014, right? Take Kawhi Leonard off there and put 2003, 2004 James on that team. Are they winning the NBA championship?
Did LeBron win a championship in 2000?
They smoked the league.
Did he win a championship in 20? Did he win a championship in 2011? With
and we talk, you brought up a young LeBron. You can't.
Did he do it?
This is the goalpost. This is the goalpost. This is he didn't do it again. That's what you do. No, he didn't do it. He wasn't on that kind of team.
That's why I'm saying this to you. Because first of all, hold on. First of all, from all the way from when he came in the league till 2011, he was a choke artist when he came down to the final.
And dude up top in the blue is right, and he actually giving them some heat right now. First of all, if he couldn't do it when he was in 2011, he damn sure couldn't have did it when he was in 03, when he was the 03 LeBron James. If he couldn't do it from the 2011 LeBron James, he definitely couldn't have did it in 03. Being the 03 LeBron James. And I don't even know why they ain't even trying to listen to him. They just talking. They talking about it's not the same. It was even better. He was a more polished player than he was when in 03. So now you giving me a 03 LeBron James, especially in 2011, you giving him when he first getting drafted, put him in the 2011 Heat. Come on now. But then the 2011 LeBron James couldn't even do it. Why you think the 03 was gonna do it? That made no sense.
So we got to keep that in mind. He choked in 2011 on a super team that he helped pick to win. So don't tell me you could have put him with the Spurs.
We've already been down this
On a team like the Spurs, though, that's stacked with veterans, he might not have to. He might not have to finish games like that.
He might not have to. He dropped 31 to make it to the finals. It's a very different team.
But you further proving the point. If he's on a team with the Spurs that's better ran and more has better culture, more veterans, more tutelage for him entering the league than he had in Cleveland, he's without a doubt a more refined player.
I'll actually tell you this. Let me tell you this. The best thing that ever could have happened to LeBron James is if he went to the Spurs, because his biggest downfall is that people let him be the system. And the second he's not playing or doesn't play well, the team stinks. But if he goes to a team where he has to be in a system, he's actually probably better.
He can't play in the system. That's
like in Miami.
He can't play in the system.
Bill Russell.
Like in Miami.
LeBron James cannot play in the system. The system has to be LeBron James or it doesn't work.
And he's absolutely 1,000% right. Like, what are y'all watching? What were y'all watching? This man ain't never played in the system, and when it did look like a system, I'll give you an example. I'm finna give you a big example of what they to show you what LeBron James looked like when he would have been in the system. I'll give you an example. The U.S. team, when Kobe, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony. That's the LeBron y'all would have seen on that team. He getting his shots every now and then. That's it. That's it. If he in the system, he need the ball in his hand, and Popovich was not gonna put the ball in his hand over Tony Parker at that time. He was not gonna put the ball in his hand. He was gonna have to play his position. And that's his biggest downfall. He never actually played the small forward. He always played like a point guard hybrid. He always played like the point guard. So unless Popovich was gonna give him the keys to the team, and still the system would have threw him off anyway. It would have threw him off. He don't play good off ball. He does not play good off ball. That's why he always struggled when they did try to do that. He has to be that position or he don't succeed. He has to have the ball in his hand. He's not getting the same thing if he's not getting the same type of stats and type of stuff he's getting now. If he played with the Spurs. So we ain't even having the same type of conversations at that time.
How's that going for him, Ticket? Since you said that he's the system, how's that going for him? How's that working out for him?
Here goes some more ether for y'all.
Not as good as it could have.
When has LeBron James ever proven outside of when he played with AD that he can play with multiple dudes in a leading a big dude first that commands the ball every time in the post? LeBron James always has to be the dude that orchestrates the offense and runs the show. This is the reason why he's still scrambling now to try to find the right pieces to put around him. And they always say, this dude ain't right, this dude ain't right, that dude ain't right. Well, if he's the king, he's GOAT James, why he can't get it done with the pieces that he has?
Bro, he really killing them. My boy really killing them right now. And I go even further with it. First of all, y'all make him look weak when y'all be talking about he ain't got the right pieces around him. If this man is getting to the final, think about this now. You got to the finals 10 times. How you ain't had the right pieces? That means you just couldn't overcome the team. You couldn't show your greatness when it was time to show it. Let's go back to the 07 championship, 07 finals. Man, them games were decided by 3 to 4 points. Every game except for one, they won by like 12. The Spurs won by like 12. All the rest of the 3 games that they beat them, it was between 3 to 4 points. The point margin. Even though the Spurs won, it was 3 to 4 points. LeBron James wasn't scoring no 30 points a game. So where all the other damn points was coming from? But he ain't had no help. Nobody want to really put into context what really happened during those times. Yes, LeBron James was the man on their team. But when it came down to those the finals in 2007, he did not do nothing in them finals that was special. And they want to try to act like, oh, the Spurs this, Spurs that. Tony, at that time, the Spurs wasn't Tony and Ginobili wasn't Tony and Ginobili that we knew after them. They wasn't that now. And that's what people try to do. They'll try to just throw out their name and try to act like they was always the same player the whole time that they was with this team. No, they got better as it went along, but nobody went talking about no Tony Parker and no Ginobili before they won that championship. Stop the lies. These are the lies that people tell, and you don't know unless you know. And if nobody ain't there to defend it, they just let it ride. This dude right here know what he talking about. The dude up top with the do-rag in the blue, he know what he talking about. The old dude right here, he just biased. You can look at his face and tell he lying. He don't even care about lying. This dude right here, he kind of neutral, but he let them even being able to say that LeBron James would have been on the Spurs. Of course he would have been on the Spurs. They was good at the time. Like, what are we talking about? The Spurs had a winning record for the whole time Tim Duncan been on the team. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all at first. He would have not even went to the Spurs. He's supposed to have been on the Nuggets. But they ain't said one time about him being on the Nuggets. Not one time have they said something about him being on the Nuggets. That's crazy. Because they know if they put the right context on stuff, he fails every time. That's why they even talking about the Spurs. I don't even know how they got there. Because he would have never had a chance to be on the Spurs.
Even if he goes on the Spurs, by the time LeBron starts to get into his prime with the Spurs, Duncan is already declining, and he was handing the keys over to Parker, so he would have just handed over to LeBron.
Okay,
It would have worked. It would have worked.
And LaMarcus Aldridge too. And LaMarcus Aldridge. So these are the dudes that he running with.
Look, what is he getting LaMarcus Aldridge from? I'm still confused on that. LaMarcus Aldridge he's not going. See, they don't understand. With LeBron James, if he did go to the Spurs, I don't even know how in the hell he would have got on the Spurs. But say he did. LaMarcus Aldridge would have been too high of a draft pick for LeBron them to get. For the Spurs to get. First of all, LeBron was too high of a draft pick for the Spurs to get. When would he have went to the Spurs? When? He would have been on the Nuggets. He would have been on a lower team. And we can say the Nuggets, whoever was the next West team, and you can give him that too. Whoever was the next team in the West, you can give him that. But he would have never got on the Spurs. He would have never got on the Lakers. So what are y'all talking about? The Spurs and the Lakers was the top dogs in the West at the time. They was the top dogs. He's not getting on their team. Man,
y'all trust LeBron James at that age with a declining Tim Duncan to get through the West?
Yes.
Man, y'all dudes on something.
They did it with. Wait a minute.
They did it with
They went to just so you know, in 13.
Hit me up some light.
In 2013, if I'm not mistaken, in 2013, when they went to the NBA Finals and lost in Game 7, Kawhi Leonard was in year 2.
I'm not talking about.
He wasn't in year 5. He was in year 2.
Again, you see what they trying to do? They talking about when LeBron got drafted. Now they trying. They talking about when LeBron got drafted, but they trying to compare it to when Kawhi came. They was not the same team when that happened. The Spurs was already established. Tony Parker and Ginobili and Tim Duncan was already established as a great team, a good team before that. But when in 03 to 04, LeBron James, when he got drafted, he go to the Spurs then. It's not the same thing as when Kawhi came. It's not. LeBron James didn't have nothing that he got. He didn't have nothing, no type of the skills that he got when in 2011. Even 2006, he had better skills. He was getting better and better. But he wouldn't have did the same thing on the Spurs because the system would have held him back from what he has to do to be successful. Now he could have been a good piece, but he definitely would have been talked about as no GOAT. He definitely would have been talked about as one of the greatest players ever if he would have got drafted to the West and got drafted. We can, like I said, we can give him the Spurs, but he would have never got drafted to the Spurs. So now, just let's humor them. If he got drafted to the Spurs, the system would have held him back. The system would have held him back. Tim Duncan was in his prime. He wasn't giving no keys over at that time. Come on, man.
It was the next year ticket that you talking about. No, I'm not. You know why?
Because baby,
one year.
When LeBron was young, after he was older.
Okay, let's rewind. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Hold on. Guess what? Y'all saying that? Watch this. Hey, Ron, watch this. I'm coming through with a sledgehammer.
Here we go.
They talking all this stuff about Kawhi's first 2 years and he failed in the finals. LeBron ain't even make out playoffs in the East. And guess what? The team that made it over him had a losing record too.
No, that's not the same. The reason why that's not.
Facts. They don't even understand. They be running themselves into traps on some, trying to finagle some other stuff that they don't even be realizing what they saying. They think they saying something smart, but then they run themselves into a trap. Again, I've been saying this forever. Even with the GOAT debate. How you as the person defending LeBron James, right? You saying, because the GOAT debate is between him and Michael Jordan for everybody. I don't know why it should be between Michael Jordan and Kobe, but they know they already had debunked that as a debate. So they just keep on throwing LeBron up there. And he ain't even better than Kobe, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm using this as an example. How you as a defender of LeBron James gonna use the fact that, okay, yeah, Michael Jordan didn't make it out the first round. Michael Jordan didn't make it out the first round for his first 7 seasons, right? That's what everybody says. But then you just look over the fact that LeBron didn't make it his first 2 years. Like, how do we justify that? How you gonna make you making that point hurts your man? Because Michael Jordan made it every year. His first few years, he made it every year. But your man didn't make it the first 2 years. Like, come on, make that make sense. Yo, man, the dude you defending, and you gonna use an argument to say Michael Jordan didn't make it. He didn't get out the playoffs. He didn't get out the first round of the playoffs for his first 7 years or his first few years. But then your man didn't even make it to the playoffs. His first 2. What? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And they think they have a good argument with that. But see, this is why this dude right here doing a good job. No matter I wish I was up there with him so I can hip him out. Cause they just really don't ganged up on him. But he killing them though. He cooking them. Cause he know the facts. They going off feelings. He know the facts. But I wish I was up there with him because I'll be on their head, boy. We'll be the tag team champions up there. Because you cannot. They moved, and just like my boy said, they moved the goalpost. You can't even bring it. Why are you bringing in Kawhi? That was 10 years. That was 10 years after LeBron got drafted. Think about that now. 10 years. LeBron was drafted in 2003, 2004 season. Kawhi, you just said that was Kawhi's second year. So that's 2013. So 2011, that's when Kawhi got drafted. Like, what was your point in that? That ain't even helping you out. That's not even helping your argument out. It's crazy.
If he was in the Spurs,
first of all, not only that, though, not only would they have made the playoffs. First of all, when he was in Cleveland, who was the man in Cleveland? Remind me who the man was in Cleveland.
We talking when he got drafted?
Yeah, who was the man in Cleveland?
It was Ricky Davis. It was Ricky Davis. Darius Miles. Other old boy. Jonas Ilgauskas was an all-star.
Who was the man when James got on the roster?
Big G was an all-star that year.
The next year, James was the man. Year 2, James was the man on that roster. Kawhi Leonard was not the man on San Antonio in year 2 or year 3. You're trying to make this out to be something completely different. You stay moving the goalpost, Ticket.
I'm not.
Stay moving it.
Chill. My point to you is this. Let's say, hold on, Fluent. You guys would say that LeBron James would have been more polished by 2011, right? In his career, right?
Not a doubt.
Right?
Correct.
Okay, so now, here's my point.
Being on San Antonio.
Here's my point. Here's my point. Right. I don't care if he's on Pluto. If you ain't built like that, you ain't built like that. He wasn't built like that. He failed in that moment.
That's not true, Ticket.
Put him in the biggest
it's not
moment,
the same thing.
He failed, bro.
It's not. Because Ticket, this is what you're doing, Ticket. You're taking a 2004 LeBron James and fast forwarding 7 years of him with Tony Parker, with Ginobili, with LaMarcus Aldridge, as opposed to LeBron James who's running around with his only constant as Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Anderson Varejao.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, why would they know what he's saying. I'm giving you the LeBron James that you want, because I know you really don't want him when he was drafted. You want him when he was polished, being called arguably the best player in the world at the time. I'm giving you something, and he didn't perform when he was arguably the best player in the world. He didn't perform when he was arguably the best player in the world. But you gonna give him, you want him when he was in 03? That don't even make sense.
That's who you're running with.
And more importantly, with Popovich as well.
Greg Popovich. I was actually getting to that. So not only Greg Popovich, he's got Mike Brown, who's all he's doing is give the ball to James, get out the way. There is nothing going on in Cleveland in terms of get the ball to James, get out the way. That's not.
That's the only way he can prosper. If he doesn't have the ball in his hand the whole time, LeBron James is not the same person that y'all talking about. If he's in a system, he's not the same person.
Going to happen in San Antonio. That's not going to happen in Portland. None of that stuff is going to happen.
All right, None of that
This
would
gonna
happen.
happen.
We
This gonna
gotta
happen.
move forward. We gotta move
That's
forward.
happening right there.
None of
That
that would
fourth
happen.
quarters in the
It might,
finals.
it
That's
might,
what
but he
happened.
might still win.
Yeah.
And then they try to act like that didn't happen. They try to act like that didn't happen. It's so crazy to me. This man, he bringing out the facts on him, and they can't even talk about it. Now the dude talking about something we need to move on. What we moving on for? This is a fact about LeBron James. They keep on trying to put him in a system that doesn't work for him. He has to have the ball. The Spurs system would have changed his whole career. It would have changed his whole career. He wouldn't have been called the best player on his team at the time. Because he would have been playing in the system. The Spurs played to where, okay, we playing best for us to win. We not playing best for somebody to get stats. That's what they don't understand. The teams back then, they wasn't playing for, okay, I want to see this person get 50 points. No, the Spurs played to where, okay, and Popovich's whole philosophy is we playing to what works, what we trying to win. I don't need you to go out there and get 50. I need you to play some defense. And I need you to give me my 20. I need you to not turn the ball over. Stuff like that. I don't need you to go out there and give me 50. So now, y'all got to understand. LeBron James' career would have took a whole nother turn with a coach like Popovich. So you not even getting the one that y'all talking about today. So even if he got drafted there, it still wouldn't have been the same thing. It wouldn't have been the same thing. He would have been a different player. Because Popovich would have held him to his position. See, that what nobody don't ever think about. He would have had to play his position, the small forward. And back then, the small forwards, Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, Paul Pierce, they had the reins to their team. He wouldn't have looked as good as them because they had the reins to their team. The only way they was running the play to get Melo. The niggas was running the play to get Melo the ball down in the post. That was his plays. LeBron James is not a post-up player. He's a downhill. Everybody move out the way. Spread out. I need 3-point shooters around me. Spread out. And if they help, I'm going to kick the ball out to you. That's his only thing. That's his only thing. And if he's not in that position to do that, he's not getting the same success. He's not.
That is true.
That is true. They might happen, but
put me in the tight zone. Put me in the tight zone.
None of that happens if he's on San
Put me in the
Antonio.
tight
None of that.
zone.
All right. Everybody calm down. We got 1,500 people in here.
I love this show.
Hey, shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to the napalm bombs. Shout out to the ethers, and shout out to the headshots.
Man, this was actually a good video for the show that this man knew what he was talking about. Everybody else, they just up here, they got to give LeBron James the best case scenario. And that goes to show you that they know that their arguments are weak. I'm going to tell you something. If you got to have the best case scenario just to win, your game ain't as good as the people that we be talking about. Your game ain't as good as Michael Jordan. Your game ain't as good as Kobe's. Your game ain't as good as shoot. We can go Dwayne Wade. But it's just, it fascinates me that people just overlook stuff and they'll try to, they got to get him the best case scenario. I'd really be mad at them doing him like that because they really make him look weaker than people would think he was. But when y'all go to saying crazy stuff, it's like, why you got to give him the best case scenario just for him to look like he can win? The Spurs, I know I don't say it through the whole video, but he would never been able to get on the Spurs. He the number one. How you gonna get on the Spurs as the number one draft pick at that time? How you gonna get on the Lakers as the number one draft pick at that time? Like, make that make sense, man. They don't even try to make sense. They just say something. They threw the Spurs and they're just all of a sudden. I don't know how they got to the Spurs. If he got drafted to the Spurs, how would he get drafted to the Spurs? It's just heartbreaking to know that these people out there that think like this. It's people out there who really think like this. And that older dude, I don't know who he is. I would want to know his background because him saying what he's saying don't even be making no sense. I don't seen another video of him. He don't even care about making sense. And then the big dude over there, I don't know what he talking about. Then just like my boy say, they gotta move the goalposts. But anyway, man, I don't want to get redundant on this. Yeah, just like, comment, and subscribe to me. Let me know what y'all think about this. Peace.